Hi guys, Dank McFlank here. So I recently got my 4.3 battle rating KV-1 heavies in order. So I started playing them, doing the stock grind last night, and I actually had some pretty good games with them. So right now we're in the KV-1s. We're on Frozen Pass, and I mean, I wouldn't say it was a, a major role in the game, but I would say that I played a pivotal part, which I guess is the same word, but and what I realized was is that you just need to really play the type of tank that you are actually playing at the moment. So if you're a heavy, unless you're a sniping heavy like a German or something like that, you can't really just be sitting in the back just hoping to get snipe shots on people if you're not really built for that. So, I mean, I'm not really saying that I know a lot about what KV-1s are capable of. I've played them in World of Tanks, but, that's not really a good indicator for War Thunder. But I know that they have really good armor. They have a pretty snappy gun. It's not really anything special, but if you get the upgraded ammo, I think it's basically just like the T-34 guns. I think it has 98 millimeters of penetration, but it manages. It works out pretty good. So I was pushing up to A. I was gonna try to see if I could get into some trouble up here, but I saw that we have a lot of bodies heading towards A, and um, I had set up on this line with my teammates, but it's a pretty solid line that we got there. And then I saw this tank destroyer over here heading to cover our flank, so I knew that if we lost that, we could easily get enveloped. They could set up positions over on this side of the map. So I'm pushing up this hill right now, trying to help out this Zis up here. One thing I've noticed with KV-1s is they're not really good on hills, as you'll see in some of this footage. Yeah, so the Zis just got taken out. That made me a little bit worried, and then I see all these enemies popping up on the map, so I start pushing towards the rock face. I don't want to show too much of my tank. Yeah, there's always a lot of sliding and slipping. I mean, it could just be because of the snow map, but I actually saw it on Ardennes as well, which you'll see later in the footage. So there's a Sherman up here. I think he's the one that took out the Ziz, so I'm trying to get a shot into him at the moment. Yeah, no pen, right into the turret ring. I don't know why he would show his side though, so he gets ammo racked pretty easily. Sadly, I couldn't get a shot into him before he sped off. I would have pushed around the corner immediately. However, I noticed that there was a German medium right here, a Panzer III, and if I would have pushed around the hill or down the hill, I wouldn't have had the gun depression to get him, and he would have had a pretty easy shot into my side. So I decided to just sit here, cover the flank, try to not let, one of our guys just got taken out here, try to not let anybody by. Uh, it's pretty even at the moment. We're capped, we're losing tickets, but we have a pretty good, line of our teammates just doing a really good job here. So I get a side shot into a Panzer IV. I don't really know what he was doing. He probably didn't even know I was there. Bad on his teammate right here, not telling him where I was. This M24 rolls out of nowhere. He was probably just trying to get a shot into me real quick. No dice. I feel like this guy should have told the Panzer IV and the M24 that I was there, but I guess he didn't feel like it. Right there, one of my teammates took out the Panzer III. So I was clear to go around the corner. Right here is where the hill gets me a little bit. I think I get caught up on this rock. Yeah, there's actually a few points throughout this footage where I just get caught up on random buildings. So I take a shot into the turret from a Cromwell. I throw a shot into his turret, though, and get him pretty good. A lot of his crew is hurt there. So I see a large glob of enemies right here. It's a pretty target-rich environment, so I definitely want to get on that action. And I see there's a Stug 3 up here. He's doing a pretty good job of stemming the tide. Panzer IV just gets caught totally out in the open. Get a good side shot into him. So they actually have a really good line set up here. You don't really see this with in most games. And I actually had a really good team here too. It was actually a really fun battle. Usually it just turns into a stomp fest, but for a while it was actually you know, a battle for the line. So I'm making this center push with all of these tanks. I definitely don't want to crest this hill though, as I have horrible gun depression. I won't really be able to do anything for a few seconds until I get to the other side. I see that one of my allies has just been taken out here, so our flank has been totally left open, so I reverse immediately to deal with this before we just get completely enveloped. And if these mediums would have gotten into here without us knowing, they could have easily torn us to shreds. This guy pops up on around the corner. It shows that his tank is dead, but he's definitely not, so he's just got his zombie tank moving right now. I take a quick shot, seeing if I can finish him off real quick. No dice. The Panzer IV pulls around the corner. I take a poor shot into him. They set up their smoke screen, and he just keeps pushing forward. I don't see him at this point until right at the last second. So I get a shot into him, knock his crew out. I didn't see the Panzer IV until he popped up right there. The zombie tank finally taken out of the game. So yeah, if they had pulled that off, we could have easily been in trouble there. So I think we've actually lost a few tanks on this push for the center, but you know, I realized that we need to cover this flank if we're gonna, you know, be successful. So I see this medium tank pulling around. I know I have horrible gun depression. I need to crest that hill if I'm gonna get him. No pen, right into the mantle. He takes a shot at me, damages my track a little bit. Thankfully I can get a shot into him. A couple of his crew members are injured. Some are knocked out. But like a fool, you know, I haven't played heavy tanks in a while, so I push up too hard. He seizes the day with his maneuverability. I get a shot, but no pen into him. I start maneuvering around to the side of him. Thankfully, his turret is pretty messed up, and I knock his crew out. And these KV-1s are pretty stock right now. I believe in this match I didn't have any horsepower upgrades. I get a side shot into the Panzer III, take him out. So instead of staying on the defense at this point, I start pushing up. I see that we have the cap. We're super low on tickets, but we don't let them recap after this point. So I start going on the offensive, seeing if I can get some shots into these enemies here. Take a shot into the side of a Panzer IV's turret. I wish I would have saved it for this M24. I take a shot from the M24 right from the front, but I'm more worried about this T-34. You know, they have that. I don't think it's the same gun. Actually, yeah, they have the same gun. I'm pretty sure as the KV I'm driving right now. I start reversing to get my gun down just enough to get a shot into the M24, so he's out of the game. Right now we're sitting at 9 tank kills. We're having a pretty solid game. Yeah, I don't want to push up too hard with his T-34. I tried getting a shot into him. I thought that it actually hit the cheek of his turret, but I guess his gun soaked it up. Yeah, thankfully one of my teammates actually takes him out, so yeah, I'm trying to cover my bases here, make sure I don't get any side shots as I push up. I actually push up a little too much However, I thought my team might have followed me a little bit more here, but I see a T-34 right in front of me. I start reversing, but then I see this medium behind me down the hill, and I definitely don't have the gun depression to take him out, so it's either, you know, I push forward towards the T-34 or I get shot in the rear by the Chi-Nu. So I start pushing forward, just trying to get out of his shot range. He actually gets a shot in me though. Yeah, sets me on fire. So now I'm just pushing up, trying to get around these rocks. I get caught up on one right there. I start putting out the fire. Yeah, the T-34 is behind me. I'm trying to push my back up into him so he can't get a shot into my turret. Thankfully, one of my teammates takes him out, but all these enemies are now in front of me, and my tank's pretty banged up. I don't have the gun depression to fire on the Panzer III. You can see I'm trying to get the gun down. It still won't go down. So I'm trying to reverse. I take a horrible shot. I ricochet. This KV-1 is pushing up pretty hard, so I start reversing. Yeah, at this point, though, I'm pretty much toast. So that was pretty much for all for Frozen Pass. We end up winning the game. I only get 9 kills, though. But yeah, any win is a good win. I'm not saying 9 kills isn't anything great, but you know, with Russian tanks, it's pretty easy to get a lot more than that. So here we are on our den. I'm in the KV-1s again. Just trying to grind it out, get these modifications researched. So I've been playing the T-34s a lot lately, so I decided to try a flanking maneuver with the KV-1s because, you know, it's actually not that slow for a heavy tank, even though I don't really, in this video, I don't think I have any of the horsepower upgrades researched, even though I'm not too sure at this point. So I know I can probably flank with it, or at least get some shots into the side of some tanks. It's always a good idea to play a large variety of tanks, especially tanks that when you face them, you have troubles. You know, if you've seen any of the T-34 videos, you know that I actually have a few showdowns with some KV-1s. Yeah, right there I get caught up on a building, caught up again. This hill is definitely beating me right now. But yeah, in the T-34 videos, it seems like KV-1s were a pretty big thorn in my side. So as you'll see in this video, I learned you know, that you can pretty reliably penetrate that mail slot right in the front of a KV-1's hull. As I think I take out a couple KV-1s in this video here. You know, I've done it in the T-34s, but you know, as I've been studying the armor for the KV-1s, I realized that I mean, I call it a mail slot. I think it's an optics port, but I realized that it's actually a pretty good place to shoot on KV-1s. So I take out an M24 right there. You know, we're sitting at 2 kills. It's still pretty early in the game. We're double capped. We're losing tickets. I definitely want to push up into this part of the town. I don't want to stay out here for too long. A KV-1 starts peeking around the corner. I don't even know what he was doing. No pen on the side. I think it got soaked up maybe by one of the track wheels right there, but he just sits there staring at me for some reason, so I get a pretty easy side shot into him and knock his crew out. Take some fire from an enemy plane. take a shot right in the back of the turret after I take out this Panzer IV here. Yeah, I definitely didn't follow one of my cardinal rules. Always peek around corners. This Panzer that I'm with at the moment throws up some smoke. He didn't really need to, but he backs up too far and gets taken out by a Natu, so I start pushing his carcass out of the way to try to get some shots in him while he's reloading. Get one shot in, get 2 crew members. I aim a little bit lower and I set him on fire. So I push back behind cover. I take a shot from the front by a KV-1. Aim for the mail slot. Even though it's yellow, you know, I know I can usually pen there and knock his crew out. So right now I feel like I'm getting surrounded, so I push back where my team is, and instead of trying to turn the tank around and showing my side here, I just decide to push my butt up against this wall. I take out a Churchill real quick. So right now I'm facing the other way. I don't really want to try to turn my tank around at this point. I didn't really know if there were too many enemy tanks around. Yeah, there's a KV-1 right there, right through the mail slot. Knock his crew out. I think that's 3 KV-1s that I take out in this match. 1 through a side shot and 2 through the optics port right in the front. I cover mine with bushes. You know, you can tell from my tanks that I am quite the bushmaster. Any little bit helps. You know, as you can tell, whenever I aim from the front of the KV, I'm definitely aiming for that. So I feel like if I can, you know, hide it with a bush, it might be a little bit harder to get a frontal shot right into me. You can see where I got hit right in the back of the turret right there. I can't line up a shot on the Natu, so I decided that I want to turn my tank around at this point. You know, the Stug's right there. I feel like he's got my back. I see that there's 2 guys right here. There's a medium, which I think is a 105 Sherman, and an M18. I'm not entirely sure. So I start pushing around the corner. I see the Sherman backing up. I get a shot right into his front plate ammo rack him. Right now I'm looking for the M18. You know, I can't spot him. I know he's there, but you know, I can't see him because he's hiding behind this building right here. A wild SU-122 just, you know, pops up out of nowhere. I get a shot into his side, but, you know, the optics port soaks it all up. I feel like that was a pretty wasted opportunity right there. So I take a shot from the M18. Gets a really good shot into my turret, sets me on fire. This is actually really lucky right now. You know, he could have easily just popped out and taken me out, but this jumbo, you know, he pushes up. I thought those bombs weren't friendly, so he gets taken out by, you know, friendly bombs. My tank's pretty banged up at this point. I think I'm repairing right now. Or no, I wasn't even repairing. I don't even think I have repair unlocked on this tank. I take a random shot at a Churchill. It was a pretty lucky shot, actually. I didn't really aim, as you could tell. I see this Stug up here. The reload time is super long right now, so you know all I can really do is act like I'm gonna shoot. The SU-122 that I got a shot into, but only got his optics port is here. I take a horrible shot through the bushes. I don't get anything with it, so I actually used the carcass of my teammate as a makeshift shield, so I'm just pushing his burning corpse through the town, trying not to let the Stug see too much of me. I don't even know how I survived that shot from the SU-122. Yeah, I take a shot. Nothing happens, though. That has actually been happening quite a bit to me recently. I think it's probably the 6th or the 7th time that it's happened. So the SU gets taken out. The Stug takes a shot. I'm pretty sure he can't move because he doesn't really seem too interested in me right now. He gets taken out of the game. We got a lot of enemies right here. Take a shot at a T-34, no pen. You know, I always say aim for the shoulder. Well, I did right there, and I just got one of those. Oh, yeah, you can tell. Okay, yeah, now I see it. My gun barrel is actually pretty effed up right now, especially with my breech. I don't know why I wasn't repairing. I can't even tell you why I wasn't repairing. Maybe I had already used it. Yeah, and then I get taken out. That's basically the end for our den, but we ended with 9 kills, an effed up gun barrel, you know, looking like a fool. Here we are on Tunisia. I take out the KV-1s Zis 5. At this point, the KV-1s had enough modifications researched on to where, you know, it could be a useful tank. So I started working on this guy, trying to get his modifications up. So we're pushing towards A. Whenever I push into the city on Tunisia, I generally like to go around the outer edge of this city. I don't really like getting bogged down in the center. You know, you see all these mediums rushing the cap. I think a lot of them actually get destroyed, though. So, you know, I begin to push around the eastern side of the city. We got A cap, they have C cap, nobody's capping B. So I see that there's a Panzer IV up here, and one of my allies is taking fire, so I just decided to go Hulk mode right through this building. I just shoot him right as I'm going through. Talk about frightening. He takes out my teammate, though, but I get the shot right into him. Just imagine seeing a KV-1 Zis just bursting through a building as you're repairing your tank. So I spot a Panzer IV off in the distance. I take a shot at him. Doesn't take him out entirely. I see that, you know, his crew members and his turret are still up, so I start peppering him with machine gun fire, trying to mark him for this medium that's following me. I think it's an M4 behind me. The M4 helps me out, takes him out of the game. There was actually some really good team gameplay in this match here. I feel like the only reason I survived was due to these mediums that were actually covering my back. As you can see, there's 2 enemy tanks that we can spot in the city, but you know, I decide that I'm gonna try to stem the tide. I'm gonna, you know, hold this bridge and try to keep the reinforcements out of the city so we can cap A. So there's a Panzer IV G out there in the distance. There's an M10. backs up before I can get a shot into his turret. An M10 rolls out over there, so I take his crew out. The Panzer IV, he starts pushing up. He bounces his shot though, which is bad for him. I get a shot into his turret. He should have backed up a lot more. I set him on fire. I know he can't fire back because all the crew members in his turret are messed up, so I start pushing forward at this point. Miss my shot there. I start pushing across the bridge. He should have probably just kept backing up because I actually get an easy shot into his side right there. I just ammo rack him. So we got B and C capped. We're actually capping A now as they've dealt with the the enemy team that was in the city. I start backing up across the bridge. I don't want to stay on this side of the bridge. They have a spawn right there. They could easily just start getting me from either side. I spot the M4. Yeah, I bounce my shot. Can't reload in time to get another shot into him. Now I know I definitely don't want to stick around. There's a Stug 3 in the distance, but I decide that I can try to get a shot into him before I start backing up. Pretty lucky shot, just ammo rack him. And then I see a KV-1 pushing up as well, so I start backing up, trying to use the bridge beams as some artificial, cover. Yeah, I don't take that shot. I don't want to shoot into his turret. I save it for the M4. He pushes out. I get a lot of his crew members. This next shot takes him out of the game. But at that point, the KV-1 takes his chance. Takes 2 of my crew members out. But thankfully, I was actually getting some covering fire from some really good players right here. This medium tank. I think it's a T-34. He definitely had my back there. So kudos to him. I'm repairing the engine right now. We still have A, but we've lost B. They're capping C. But I just remain in this position as I don't want us to lose A as well, as that could be a really big morale hit for the team. I see an M4 pop up in the distance. I take a shot. No pen. I bounce his shot. Fire another shot. Takes him out. I continue backing up into the city to just try to get at least a little bit of cover from this right side, just in case anybody starts pushing up on me here. It may seem like the boring thing to do, but if it helps your team win, then you should definitely do it. Not everybody likes to sit back and defend a point, but if you're playing your role, that's actually one of the main roles of a heavy tank. You're not always supposed to brawl in close quarters combat. Usually it's just holding a point and using your armor and your gun to keep people at bay. So there's 2 enemies up here. They're trying to probably get shots into me. They probably think I'm up a little bit farther than what I am. They start getting wiped out by these medium tanks who are giving me covering fire. Yeah, I can't really stress that enough. You just got to play your role. So if you're in a medium tank that is a really good flanker and it has a powerful gun, then you need to do that. So I take a side shot into an M4, easily just ammo racket. Yeah, I think we end the match with 7 kills here, but it was just really good covering fire from the M4, and then I think the T-34 was right here. But these guys were playing their tanks very well. So the final battle of this video takes place on our Den Domination 2. I had actually never played on this map before, so I'm actually pretty cautious going over this hill. I'm not really sure where good areas are to set up in the town, so I basically just drive forward and pick a spot and then go from there. I get rammed by a T-34, and then he looks at me like it's my fault. Like, what are you doing? Why don't you just go play the objective? And then he runs into me again. So, not really sure what that guy was doing. Yeah, this battle actually just turns into a mayhem inside this city. I actually nicknamed the replay Heavy Metal because it reminds me of that game Twisted Metal, but I'm in a heavy, so I've made a play on words right there. So I see this building right here, right in front of me. I feel like this is a good spot to set up. I see that somebody takes a shot over here. There's a T-34, then a KV just starts pushing up. Pretty foolish on his part. He definitely didn't look both ways before he crossed the street, which I've definitely been guilty of that before. I see there's a heavy icon on the mini-map behind me, but there's 2 of my allies here, so I start backing up to take a peek. I definitely don't want to expose my sides, though, as that could easily lead to a respawn. So, and when I do that, though, I actually miss a chance to take a really nice shot into what I think was a 105 Sherman. So there's tanks set up on the map. I mean, on the hill over there. That's actually how you can see that I really don't know this map very well. I didn't realize that that was a pretty open shot right there. So I get a shot into I think it was a Panzer IV, side shot into the KV-1, set him on fire. A shot that I feel like it should have penetrated right there, but no dice. He actually turns around though, and I just aim for that mail slot and get it right in there, knock his crew out. I see that there's a KV-1 to my left, so we start aiming up on this hill, or the people on the hill. We definitely want to try and get them off that hill there. So I take a shot at the Panzer IV. I get some good team play there. I back up for him. He takes a shot. He backs up. I move forward. I back up for him. It was actually pretty fun playing with him, just right there in that moment. I always enjoy it when players are actually pretty coherent and they actually know how to play their tanks. I see the 3-inch gun carrier. I take some shots into his front, pretty foolish of me, as they're really well armored. I actually take another one here, thinking I might be able to get something out of him. No pen, though. So my right track is pretty busted up at this point. I see that, 3-inch is actually dead, so I take the Stug out behind him. We're sitting on 4 kills right now. Somebody pop smoke. Can't really see anything. I'm not really sure who popped the smoke. I think it was one of our allies, but I feel like it actually hindered us because I know at least I wasn't able to get any shots on any of these enemies until the smoke cleared. I can see that there's enemies over there through the bushes, but all I can really see are silhouettes, so I take a random shot, get him right in the shoulder, and knock his T-34 out. You know, we have A capped. We're about even on tickets right now. We have a pretty good presence in the little town, but you know, they also have a really good line set up, and they're beginning to envelop us. And there's actually one point where I'm the only tank left in the city, and I don't even realize it until I get knocked out and sent back to respawn. Our team just basically melts like butter at some point. I bounce off the KV-1s turret. That angle was just too good. I take a shot at the M4 through some rubble. I hit the optic port. I'm just a fan of optic ports lately. Yeah, we're definitely starting to lose presence in the city. They have a really solid line of tanks right here. And they actually had, I believe, 2 good players. I see the side of an M4. I take an awful shot. I hit the rubble right in front of him. There's a KV-1 right there, so, you know, I just aim for the mail slot. You know, he's on fire. It shows that he's dead in the footage, but he's not. You know, I just don't want it to seem like I'm just shooting a dead tank. Right through there again, knock his crew out. It's a pretty reliable spot. And then I look to my right, and there's just, you know, a KV-1 just chilling right there. That's actually one of the few times I have not penetrated the optic port right there. He pushes forward for a second. I get the shot. Hurts a lot of his crew. At this point, this is the time that I realized that I was the only tank left in the city. I'm completely surrounded, and I get taken out by a T-34. So I respawn in the KV-1s. You know, it doesn't really show it on the map right now, but the town is heavily fortified. Most of their team are actually in the town. As you can see on the map, we don't really have much bodies that have actually spawned in. You know, at this point, I feel like we're going to lose the match, which we actually do end up losing the match, but I feel like we're going to lose. So I just start pushing around this edge over here, which I'm actually pretty lucky. I didn't realize that there was, you know, that it dipped down right here, and I actually get a pretty good flanking maneuver in the KV-1s, and I get around a lot of them because, you know, they're all just piling towards our spawn right now, just preparing to spawn camp us, and I don't really want to get caught up with that. So we're sitting at 6 kills right now, 2 assists, 1 cap. I believe we end the game with 13 kills though, so a lot of my kills actually, you know, come when I have accepted the fact that we're going to lose. So I get a shot into a T-34, not even angled. I see a Panzer III, and then an M15, so I take a shot into him. I don't want to stay around though, because I can see on this little shot cam that I think he starts turning his gun towards me. So I take out the M8. I take a shot, but I have to turn around because I see that a medium tank is actually pushing really hard up right here, and it's actually one of the players that is actually, he's pretty good. He's in his T-34 1942, which is just an amazing tank that I love to play. I set him on fire. I get around him though, right into the turret. Knock his crew out. 9 kills right now. Panzer III sneaks by real quick, so I start backing up to see. I thought he might push past the house. See another Panzer III, take him out real quick. So he starts pushing up. He gets a shot into me. I get a side shot into him though, knock his crew out. So we're sitting at 11 kills. This Panzer III, there's just Panzer IIIs everywhere. I use the carcass of the T-34 for some protection real quick, but this tree blocks my view, so I have to go into sniper view to see what's going on. I see the Panzer III there. I don't think I can fire at this point though, yeah. nothing happens. I get overtaken. Yeah, it actually takes me a while to respawn because I was actually not even going to respawn because we're getting spawn camped at this point. But I just thought, F it, I might as well. And thankfully I do because I actually get quite a few kills here as well. The T-34 that killed me earlier, I take him out as he tries zooming past me, trying to spawn camp the crap out of us. I take this T-34, or no, he gets taken out by the other KV-1 in this cap, but I get some shots into him. He's the other one that had been that had taken my tanks out. He gets taken out by the KV-1 Sport right there. I take out an M4. We're just, it's just mayhem right now. We're just taking out tanks left and right. And this guy was actually my my squad mate in the game, so it was actually pretty awesome. This Matilda just starts rolling up. We get some shots into him, and then he actually takes it out of the game. So we defend our spawn without getting spawn camped, so that was actually pretty dope. But yeah, that's the end of the game. We lose it. 13 kills though, 4 assists, 1 cap, crap load of points. So, well, I hope you enjoyed the KV-1 footage, and this is Dank McFlank signing out.